NGEN-PCs here, I'm William, and today we're going to give you a special look at InWin's RGB Aurora Fan starter kit, courtesy of InWin themselves. So let's talk availability. At the time this video is releasing, the only way to get this kit is with the purchase of an InWin 303 case, and it's a $90 upcharge. Now InWin plans on pushing this kit to market standalone, but they haven't told us the price point. Now, assuming this $90 upcharge with the purchase of a case, this kit could easily be around $100 by itself. So $100 for 3 fans. What makes these so special? Well, for starters, keep in mind that this is actually for an Aurora starter kit. So you actually get 3 RGB fans, 2 12-inch RGB LED light strips, the controller, and a wireless remote to control it all. So not only is this a performance fan package, it's an aesthetic upgrade for your computer. These are the only fans on the market that are currently daisy chainable, and because of which feature some very interesting modes. Now, I'd love to tell you what these modes are called, but the instructions barely even tell you how to put the kit together, much less designate what modes even exist. So based on what we found, the most we can tell you is that there are approximately 7 or so different modes these fans can go through, each with their own color presets. There's actually no ability to choose a color in the RGB spectrum in any of these modes. So we found a solid color mode in which you can choose white, red, green, or blue. There's a wave mode that has different dual color presets, so it kind of cycles between 2 colors. We found a wave mode that offers multiple colors per fan at a given time. There's a back and forth wave mode that's full color. There's an additive mode that basically goes through and adds 1 LED each time until all LEDs are together. There's a breathing mode, what we can only call disco mode because it's just a raving light show. And then lastly, there's an auto mode that will just randomly switch between any of these modes that I previously mentioned. Now within each of these modes though, you can adjust the speed and brightness of the lighting effect. So let's talk about the Aurora Fan controller. It's a little black box about the size of a 2.5-inch solid state, and it features 2.5-inch mounting holes on the bottom to make installation simple. It's powered by a single SATA connector. It has a USB 2.0 header to connect to the motherboard to be controlled via software. Has PWM capability, so you can control all fans via PWM on the motherboard. And lastly, has 1 power output that's going to go into your first fan. From there, you can daisy chain into 2 more fans and 2 RGB strips. The instructions do not denote how many fans you can daisy chain together, or light strips for that matter, and we do not know if InWin's even going to sell these separately or not, or if you have to buy a whole other kit to add 3 more fans to your system. So let's talk about the quality of the fans. To accommodate the input and output connections on top, the frame is actually made out of 2 separate molded pieces of plastic clamped together. Now because of which it lacks the structural rigidity of a single solid fan, and it actually creaks a little bit as you move it back and forth, giving it a kind of lower quality feel. But it does have rubber isolated dampeners, and once mounted in place, rigidity is no longer an issue and performance isn't compromised in any way. The input and output connections on top of the fan are basically miniaturized 6-pin PCI connections. They feature short cables to daisy chain them back and forth, but these loops do stick up quite a bit and could be hard to tuck away depending on how they're mounted in your case. This kit offers 2 means of control, one via software and one with the included wireless remote. Both feature the same buttons overall. They allow you to turn lights on and off, select modes, switch between the presets within those modes. They allow fan control. There's a turbo button to kick the fans on to 100%. If you're not controlling the fans via PWM of the motherboard, they allow you to step the fan speed up and down. And then lastly, you can vary the brightness and the speed of each of the lighting effects. So what about performance? Assuming this is around a $100 kit, their direct competition are Corsair's HD 120 RGB fans. We were able to buy a kit of 3 of those fans plus their controller on Amazon for $85. Now, we're not going to go into the details of all the lighting modes that the HD 120s have, but keep in mind that they are not software or wirelessly remote controlled, and they don't include RGB lighting strips. Now, performance-wise, the InWin Aurora fans run at 1400 RPM via PWM control, and can actually step up to 2000 RPM via the turbo mode. The HD 120s run at 1725 RPM. And looking at our performance graph, you'll note that the HD 120s performed maybe 5% on average cooler, but the InWin Auroras were able to keep up with a 20% less RPM than the HD 120s. This meant that they were actually significantly quieter than the HD 120s. The HD120s feature more of a motor whine to it, whereas the Aurora's is basically only wind noise. Although toasty, the 3 Aurora fans across our EK360 rad are enough to cool a pair of GTX 1080s and a 6-core i7-6850K at stock clocks under full load. If you'd like to build similar to ours, we would recommend adding another 360mm radiator at the bottom to keep temps chilly. So what's our conclusion? As far as RGB fans go, we are quite impressed, especially as this is InWin's first real entry into the fan market. They're immediately trading blows with Corsair's top-of-the-line RGB fans and offer enough features to make these an enticing offer to someone looking to add some flair to their computer, especially as a one-stop, all-inclusive system. Now, before we go, InWin has approached us to help explain the Aurora's compatibility with ASUS's Aura Sync technology. Aurora can sync with other motherboard softwares, but they need to have both an RGB header and an addressable header. Currently, the only motherboards on the market that have those features are all from ASUS, the Prime X299 Deluxe, the ROG X299E Gaming, and the AMD ROG CROSSHAIR 6 Extreme. But there are more motherboards with those features coming out later this year from many other brands you are familiar with. Older Aurora kits will not have this cable, but all current batches of Aurora fans will. If you have an Aurora fan kit without the cable and would like one, please contact InWin. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If not, a thumbs down, and leave us some constructive criticism on what we can improve on. I'm William, and from us at NGEN-PCs, thanks for watching.